This is the official unveiling of the Woodford Reserve Bourbon top quarterback in the Chris Simms 2021 rankings. That man is.
That's right. I mean, that's my homie, your homie, my homie. Whenever he's on, I watch my homie, your homie, my homie, my homie and me. That's right. Patrick Mahomes is still the number one quarterback in football. He's the best player in the NFL. You know, there's really, again, we're talking about a guy that's got no weakness to his football game. There's really not. I mean, everything, whether it's quick decisions, right decisions, unbelievable throws off platforms, throwing in the pocket, subtle moves in the pocket, you know, the ability to extend plays outside the pocket, throwing balls off of, you know, imbalanced footwork and things like that. There's nobody better in the game. And, of course, I don't know if there's a team or an offense that's more based around one guy and his talents, you know, really in the NFL. And literally, I don't know if there's been one more that I can think of really in recent history that he would even compound with that. I mean, it's, again, we're watching a guy who's gone to the AFC Championship game, the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl, and they basically have just gone, here you go, defense, okay, solid, nothing great. It's all on you. Shotgun, we're going to call plays that have never been seen in the history of the NFL, and we just zoom, 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 and you just float around back there and make it happen. Oh, okay, no problem. 2 Super Bowl appearances and an AFC Championship appearance. No big deal. I mean, it's insane what they ask of him, how he delivers. Yes, they're talented, but, I mean, I don't know. I think it speaks for itself. Was it a down year a little bit for him last year? Yeah, okay. You know, he was banged up a little bit here and there, but still, they had the bullseye on their back. Nobody brings more belief and magic to the football field, to their team on a weekly basis than Patrick Mahomes.
So you said maybe he had a little bit of a down year last year. Let's take a look at his 2020 ranks. You, of course, had him number 1 last year. Patrick Mahomes was number 2 in 2019. So 2 years in a row, number 1 Chris Simms quarterback. His completion percentage was 13th last year, but his passing yards were 2nd in the league, yards per attempt 4th, touchdowns 4th, and touchdowns of 20 or more yards was 1st. He had 13 of those. Doesn't necessarily mean he threw the ball deep down the field, because I think there's a couple at least that Tyreek was able to take to the house.
Probably a few, yeah.
There were some short passes, and that was the story early on with them, because they, for so long, have been a, you know, down the field, Patrick Mahomes on his right arm. They were a little more dink and dunk last year at times.
Yeah, they hit a few, you know, snags in the road, or that's not really the something snags and something.
Yeah.
But, well, they played, you know, of course, listen, you play Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. The one thing we've seen is, just like the Super Bowl, the teams who play deep coverage have given them issues. You know, so we saw the Chargers in week 2. They gave them issues. Baltimore, better defense, the next week plays a ton of man-to-man. That matches up great with them. They love that. See, it's a league of matchups. It's not always about like, oh, we're this much better than this team and not that much better than that team. Sometimes it's about the scheme, the matchup. The Raiders, though, we know they gave them problems. That's what they did. Drop back, play deep. See if they'll throw it underneath. You know, that was the big thing. That, to me, where I was shocked by the Super Bowl still. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
You know, listen, you say what you want. I know Mahomes wasn't 100%. That game plan was not good. That's all there is to be said about it. And that's got to be the next part of the offense. I saw Mahomes to make a quote this past week about, I think we're going to get the running backs involved in the passing game more this year. Yeah, you got to. They have to grow that part of their offense. You know, it was nothing. Was Mahomes a little greedy in the Super Bowl? Sure. But they took the game plan from that first game and didn't get the same game plan from the defense as that first game. And they never changed, never did anything. So that's where they have to grow to help him out a little bit. So he doesn't always have to like, oh, teams playing us better or they're playing us tough. We don't change anything. I'm just expected to make more unbelievable plays. Right. Oh, it's the Super Bowl. Scramble to the left. Nobody's open. Let me throw a ball. Running to my left, with my right arm, across my body, 30 yards down the field, and it hits Tyreek Hill in the face at the 1-yard line, right? Or some of those drops. Like, that's what they asked them to do. Like, they're covering us extra good, so you have to throw it extra gooder. today. And it's like, no, that's not realistic to ask of a guy all the time.
And
let alone they have no pass protection in that game either.
Right. and injuries on the offensive line.
Right.
They've tried to revamp that offensive line. Looks like they've done a pretty good job. So he should have more protection in 2021.
Amazing job.
Won't hit any snags in the road because of that. Pete thinks it's just snags.
Yeah.
I guess snags.
But
it does seem like there's something that
I think
with
there is
roads,
something else, but
right? Like a bump in the road.
Bump in the road.
A bump in the road
is
it. Snags is just hit a snag. I guess it is
just hit a snag.
Just
yeah.
a snag. There's no snags in roads. There's a story on NFL.com that talks about Mahomes learning to do more with less. I want to know if you agree with this.
Yeah.
It says here, quote, "It's important to note here that Mahomes is an eternal optimist. He believes he can win regardless of what's surrounding him. The problem is that he has never gone into a season with more questions about his receiving core." That was on NFL.com, the headline there.
Yeah.
You find that true? I mean, it's not a whole lot of turnover there. I guess
No.
Sammy and
It's just about who's going to be that second guy.
I guess.
That's really what it's about. But you're right.
It's been Kelsey as
and
the
Tyreek.
second guy.
Right, yeah.
And
So
been
those
enough.
are 1 and 2. You're right. That's all they need. I think the question there is just about who's going to be that next guy that jumps up. Well, I mean,
Right.
McCole Hardman,
Yes.
Demarcus Robinson, Brian Pringle. Who exactly will that be? I do think you're going to see more of the Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the pass game, and hopefully a little bit more variety in their attack either way. But like the point is what you said right there. Listen, he's the greatest equalizer in the sport. I mean, the greatest. They beat the Dolphins and the Saints late in the year, right? 32-9, 33-27. They didn't play good. They didn't block anybody for 8 quarters straight. They didn't block anybody, and he still threw 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions or whatever else. He can almost overcome anything. And I still believe even in the Super Bowl with no blocking, if his toe was healthy, I still think it would have been closer for sure. I really do believe that.
Are you worried about that toe at all?
All right. So here, I'm glad you're asking me this. I do worry about it because it's one of those things. Just one wrong step, somebody steps on it the wrong way, and all of a sudden it's full-fledged back 100% to the way it was.
It's like AJ Green. It seems like he's been dealing with a toe for his whole second half of his career.
It made Deion Sanders retire.
That's true.
That's why he retired. It's a more serious injury than people realize. So I do worry about that. Here's my only worries about Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen within the next 5 to 6 years, okay? I have no worries about anything they do in the football field. I worry about both of them gaining too much weight. If I was going to be, because I'm friends of theirs, like they don't know it, but I'm telling you, I like them a lot.
Yep.
Like if I would say anything, I'd be keep running, keep in running shape. So you get in the NFL sometimes as a quarterback, and you get to the offseason, and you're in shape, but you might not have been in training the way you were like your first year in the NFL, getting ready for the combine, or the way you were in college when they make you work out and run and do sprints like every day of your life. Right? To where you go, well, I want to be loose and relax and be able to throw the ball the way I want. But to me, that's the only negative I can see with those two. It really is. They have the propensity to get a little thick, and that will compromise their ability to move and make magic happen. That's the only thing I worry about is just a guy who, analyzes bodies, seen a lot of quarterbacks in my life, and, I certainly root for these two a lot.
So you would just say, as a friend, don't get fat.
Just watch your weight. Keep running. Keep training to run. Don't lose that aspect because it's such an important part of their game. It's special, and you don't want to just hit that, well, I'm in shape, I'm an athlete, I'll get in shape when I got to. You won't be the same if you approach it that way. But, yes, Mahomes is number one. He's the best quarterback in the sport. He's the best player in the sport. Josh Allen is not far behind. He's not, for my money. It was a serious gap closed within the last year. But still, Mahomes is still the man. And then I think, yes, Rodgers is just slightly behind Josh Allen. As I told you, that tormented me going back and forth between that.
So your top 3 are really close. Deshaun's a little bit farther back?
Yeah, I think Deshaun's there's a clear gap between my top 3 and then 4 and 5 for me, yes.
And so we already know 3 and 2 are very close for you, Rodgers and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And you just said that Allen's very close
It's very close, too.
Mahomes, so everyone's close here. Rodgers is close to 1.
Yeah.
Mahomes is close to 3. If Mahomes comes out and the toe's not totally there or something goes wrong, like this is not the situation where Mahomes was 1 last year, where he's going to be 1 for the next 5 years. He's got to prove himself.
Freaks. These guys are freaks. They're freaks. Josh Allen is as freaky of a quarterback that's ever came into football. If Josh Allen has the same year he did last year,
yes,
and Mahomes has the same year he did last year, and they play in the AFC Championship game and Allen wins this time around, Allen could be the number 1 quarterback in football.
I mean, no one will very few people will disagree with that.
I don't know, but I doubt it. It's my list, so
if Allen wins the game, that's an argument that people will be okay with.
Yeah, maybe, but it's not far off.
Yeah.
It's not. So we'll see. Let's see if they can replicate what they did last year. You said it. I don't know if they can really play that same way and expect all the positive results they got. But they went 13-3 last year with no running game. And I'm just going to make sure I have this right, and a defense that was 14th in football.
Yeah.
All right. That usually doesn't mean 13-3, and that's because they have Josh Allen at quarterback, and that's why it happened to be 13-3.
Congratulations, Patrick Mahomes. What do we send him? Do we send him the barrel top? Should we just send him that out there? You sign it.
I'll sign it. Or maybe I should send him my song. Just be like, hey, play this before the games. You'll play awesome.
Send him an MP3. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah. We'll just have a video of him playing it.
I do want to ask him to go on the podcast at one point.
That would be
I do. He is aware.
We got to get the number
of
one.
How highly I talked about him coming in the draft. I've met Mahomes before. He knows all the praise I gave him before the draft. So maybe I've cozied up to him enough to where he'd maybe do me a solid.
He goes, you almost screwed it up for me. The Bears almost took me if you kept talking me up there.
Good thing you shut up when you did.
All right, so that's it. We've gotten to the finish line.
Wow.
In partnership with Woodford Reserve Bourbon, that is the Simms Top 40 Quarterback Countdown.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.